Brother Parks stay in the house. Right there.
Islam, 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 Grand Sikh Islam Royal Council. I'm Brother Parks Bay. I'm just going to take the mask off temporarily. I thank you for being here. It is an honor to be in this augustus body of those who want to wake up from that mental sleep and mental death. So I'm about to call the Adhan, which is after a man who was a slave, and in Islamic history in Arabia, his name was Bilal. And Bilal was a slave, but yet they got a slave to climb the Kaaba and call the prayer. And 1,000 years later, that same prayer, called the prayer, is being called, and it was originally by a man named Bilal. I want to give honor to our Royal Council, our National Grand Sheik, Sheikesses, sympathizers, empathizers. I want to give honor to Brother Arthur Burrell L., who was a host of a radio station that I happened to be a part of, and he was a freedom fighter. For all those after I call this prayer, you can reach me at winstonbay@hotmail.com. winstonbay@hotmail.com. I want to do some work. Let's get busy. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya as-salah. Hayya as-salah. Hayya al-falah. Hayya al-falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illa Allah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. All praises and gratitude are due to Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent, master of this day of judgment. Thee alone do we worship and not they receive. Guide us on a straight path, the path of those that you bestowed your favor upon, not those who have deserved your anger or your wrath, nor those who have gone astray. Islam.
Islam. Islam. I'm Sheikh Lawrence Youngbay, Divine Minister and National Treasurer for the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. At this time, first, we'll have the Moorish prayer.
All rise.
Face east. Face this way.
Slightly to your right. Islam. Islam. Islam.
Allah, the Father of the universe. The Father of love. Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day. Through his holy prophet, through Allah. Ameen. Peace. Islam. At this time, we will have Sheikh Greendale recite the reading of the Asiatic, subhanAllah, reading of the Divine Constitution and bylaws.
Islam. Star and crescent, which represents our salvation, all-seeing eye of Allah, handpress of unity for Moors all over the world. Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live their life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Jew Allah, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. The Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Jew Ali, 3140 Indiana Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, U-PERD, S-PERD, A-PERD. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Islam. Next, we'll have the reading of the Asiatic Covenant by Sheikess Gloria Cherry Eel, Islam.
Islam family. I am first rising to my highest height, giving all perfect praises and honors to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. I am giving honor to all the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and our last prophet in these days, our great illustrious Hebrew prophet, Prophet Noble Jew Allah, our Redeemer and Savior, always. I'm giving honor to all the ancestors, all Allah's divine attributes. I am recognizing and acknowledging all our national officials, all our officers, all members, all our children, our parents, our visitors, friends, family, and always the universe. Islam. We're going to do something different this time. I'm going to be reading the Asiatic Covenant, and as I read, I'm asking everybody to please listen to the words and let it resonate with your soul. We are connected. No matter where we go out in the universe, this covenant is talking to us as far as unity. This is our soul connection to each other, Allah, and our prophet, our formal binding agreement. We are the children of one Father, provided for by His care, and the breasts of one mother have given us suck. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite us with our brothers and sisters, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. And when we separate in the world, remember the relation that binds us to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before our own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of our Father contribute to the support of his whole race. And his care be continued to us all in our love to each other. Islam.
Islam? Islam. Islamos. Next, we'll have our purpose. And now, our purpose for the Moorish Science Temple, we have a purpose, and that'll be explained by our Grand Sheikh Joe Bratton Bey. Islam? Islam. Islam? Islam. Islam.
Islam. Islamos. Islam. Islam. Y'all happy, right? I'm happy for you. As long as we all happy, I'm happy too. We all right? Well, I just want to add that our time is very limited today. So a lot of things that we normally would go through, we are not because of the time, because we got to feed you all after the ceremony. So certain things that we have more so eliminated, but nevertheless, so we're going to be as pointed as we can with certain information. So my position today is to explain our purpose of this great movement. Our prophet Noble Drew Ali had indicated that there's a misunderstanding amongst the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and it's about what this movement is dedicated to. So the movement is both divine and national. You can't do one without the other. That's the balance. And what we have to understand is what our prophet brought to us and for us. He brought us our nationality and birthright. So that means you have a right at birth. As we speak, when we're born in this man's society, we don't come in right, because they label us still black, Negro, colored, etc. They codified us. So by the prophet establishing his authority on August 1st, 2:52 p.m., 1928, he broke the Roman seal. And by him bringing us our nationality and birthright, he brought us back into the grace with the Creator and our ancestors. So back in 1975, our Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingwall established the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, and he incorporated here in Maryland in 1975, and we are the only Moorish entity in this nation that has been confirmed through the government to deal with the national and divine movement. And that's why our charter speaks as it does. It has certain languages to it, which it indicates when you look at the charter, you see all these symbols. And these symbols represents the high and the low. The charter number is 1099 and has warning dispensation on it. So that is a very high, I don't care what Masonic order you in, none of them is higher than Prophet Noble Drew Ali's charter. So let me give you the purpose of what the movement was established in 1975. And this is what it says. Now, all this is relevant to us being emancipated because certain processes for us as a people was not administered. And that main process was naturalization. We all want to be natural beings, and the root word for nationalization is natural. So let me explain
what Grand Chief Richard Dingell did along with the staff. The purpose of this organization. The name of the profitable corporation is the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated number 13. The said corporation is to conduct business and bring about the nationalization of all lands, finance, compensation, and reparations that are due under the ownership of the Moorish American nation, which we, in 1997, established the Moorish American National Republic, making the United States government responsible for our operation. Colonization and compensation is to be complied with in conjunction with Section 17 of the 13th Article of Amendment with 20 sections, and the third articles of the compensated Emancipation dated December the 15th, 1862 as follows. Thank you, Mo. So I'm giving you a basic foundation first. Now we will get a little bit more involved. It is imperative to the maintenance of the public peace that this corporation work in conjunction with the governor of the state of Maryland, the secretary of the mental health and hygiene, other state agencies, as well as the federal government to mandate a national proclamation and general registration for the purpose of having naturalized all persons of Moorish descent who are otherwise improperly known as Negroes, black people, and colored folks, and any other misnomers or synonyms applied to said persons as a result of their enslavement. Said registration is to take place in compliance with the above cited edicts. We are to issue charter of warning dispensation to subordinate temples and agents throughout the states, and nations, etc., to suppress all conspiracies, hindering the implementation of the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections according to the First Amendment, dealing with your religious right. What is so significant about the 13th article with 20 sections is that connecting with your free national constitution, which is the first 7 articles, what is so significant about the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, section 1 says that we have the right to worship God according to the dictates of our own consciousness. We never had that right since we became free. And the reason why we don't have that right is because we're still being classified as blacks, Negro, colored, etc. Now we got to understand that black is an adjective, it's not a noun. So the question that we need to ask ourselves, what is the noun of the people who call themselves black? So let me continue and I'm going to stop. So in 1997, we amended our articles to be inclusive of the Moorish American National Republic, bringing it back into a governmental process of authority and recognition. The Moorish American National Republic will remain headquartered in Baltimore, Maryland, and has established the Bureau of Moorish Affairs, because then we need to have a Bureau of Moorish Affairs in each one of these states to satisfy our concerns. We have our legislators in these various positions, but they don't do anything for the salvation of our people, regardless of what position they have in government. Nothing has changed. And the reason why, because they're still being controlled. So we're going to be located in our office in D.C. with an area office to be located in each state in which business must be conducted by and for Moorish Americans, etc. The Bureau of Moorish Affairs will have the full authority to work through and with the governor of the state, as well as any and all state agencies and the federal government, to fulfill the mandate of the Moorish American National Republic. We will be issuing nationality cards, certificates, and oaths, as well as all governmental license, permits, etc. pertaining to the Moorish American National Republic. And I'm going to close with that, but I just want you all to understand that, see, this is all about jurisdiction. And you all may think that you're citizens, but you're not. If you ask the average person, what is the law that established your citizenship? Most of us don't know. The only law that establishes your citizenship is the 14th Amendment. But when you read Section 1, it says all persons born or naturalized can become a citizen. So the key word in that is person. So you either corporate or natural. Now, we all are corporate slaves because everything was done in threes. 1865, we were set free, made free, but yet we don't know how to stay free. 1868, they came in with the 14th Amendment to re-enslave us. Then 3 more years later, 1871, according to the Act of 1871, they made all the states corporations. So everything that you are doing, how you live your life, is being controlled. The man that controls your habits control you. Look at everything that's going on in society, and who is behind it? It's the corporations. So I just wanted to add that, but there's so much more to this. But because of the time limit that we have and that we've been designated to deal with this particular program, we can't disseminate too much more information because of that timeline. Islam Mose, thank you much. Thank you, Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. Very enlightening and inspiring speech by Grand Sheik and Grand Sheik Joe Bratton Bay. Next, we will have the Sunday school presentation given by Sheikess Gloria Cherry Eel, Islam.
Islam family again. I'm re-rising again to my highest height. I am Sheikess Gloria Cherry Eel, the National Director of the Moorish Children's Sunday School. Our purpose is to fulfill Act 5 of the questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, especially the portion stating and letting every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so. Because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. We have 3 portions to our Sunday school. 1, the first portion, we all as a unit, adults and children together, share in the opening with the Moorish American prayer, the Divine Constitution and bylaws, questionnaire and additional laws, and the Quran questions for Moorish Americans, 101 questions and answer. 2, second portion, the children go through their lessons. And 3, the third portion, the adults go through their lessons. Here at National Headquarters, the ages of our students are infants to teenagers. Our lessons are both divine and national. All students are encouraged to freely exercise their 5 senses with the lessons assigned to them. Very briefly, for example, using our Quran question, for Moorish Americans, 101 keys, students are able to recognize and understand some of the current imbalances the world is facing today. They demonstrate on these imbalances and share their thoughts and concerns with their fellow peers to promote awareness and self-reflection. We use various techniques and curriculums to teach the students, such as, but not limited to, more sight words and activities, creative writing assignments, role-playing, researching tools, self-reflection exercises, and syllabus and real-life scenarios. We focus on true history, culture, our original and organic laws. Some of the students have been elevated to leadership positions, such as Moorish Achievers and Deputy Moorish Achievers in Training. Our ultimate goal is to prepare them to be future guardians of the nation. We encourage everyone to take the time to listen to our replay recordings of our Sunday school to actually witness our aspiring divine future guardians of the nation in action. Please go to our website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. Click on Resources and access Sunday School Children. Check out the material under our Learning Tools in the Quizlet section. You will be very uplifted. Thank you all. Peace, 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 and more peace. I love you all.
Islam? Islam? Islam. Next, we will have our law and history courses explained by Sheikh Isaiah Orton Bey. Islam? Islam.
Islam Moors. Islam. Time's sake, I'm going to cut my salutations short. So, giving all honors to Allah, most definitely, and our Prophet in these last days and times, our illustrious Hebrew Prophet, the Honorable Prophet Noble Jew Allah, first, second, and third form. Islam Moors, I'm going to briefly explain about our Moorish school and law and history. Our Moorish school and law and history is a vessel of the Moorish Science Temple, which is of America, which was established by our Prophet. That vessel is set up to give us a platform so we can tap into that genius citizen. How do we tap into that genius citizen? Well, we have 3 courses that has been made available to us to enlighten us on the history and the law aspects of ourselves, which we were disconnected from. In our Moorish School and Law and History, we have 3 courses. The first course is The Warning of 1928 by Prophet Noble Jew Ali. In The Warning, we are able to trace back through our minds and remember that time of who we were before the brands. Our Prophet Noble Jew Ali speaks of a free national government. Free means in law, not under the restraints of others. All right, so what we're doing, we're taking this journey through our minds to start to release and chip away from that European psychology. What is that European psychology? We can sum it up in many words. The white man's law. This is the white man's land. True indeed, but we're going to learn and understand how these laws apply to us, and again, jurisdiction. One government with 2 jurisdictions. So our warning takes us on that journey to explore those historical facts, starting from 1774, 1865. These are just some of the dates that will help you to pinpoint to be able to trace back. Going further, we have our Be It Known course. The Be It Known course is set up to explain and give that historical detail of the extension that was put upon the foundation in 1928 by our good master teacher, Grand Chief Richardson Dingle Ill, in establishing the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics. And to Be It Known, you'll learn about that chunk of history that many Moors are not familiar with, which took place in the early part of the 40s. All right? Last but not least, wrapping it up, we have our Nationality and Identification Card course. We heard our National Grand Chief talk about corporate entities. Put out any identification that you claim to be your identification and look at your name. It's in all caps. All right, so we're going to learn about a proper national and identification card. What we're utilizing now, Moors, are not identification cards. Through the conditioning of this European psychology, we have accepted that, but we're going to understand the degrees, the keys within our nationality identification card. And again, Morris, this is housed in the National Archives records. All right, the National Archives only house 1 to 3% of important historical documents. These documents that you are receiving, Morris, are important historical documents that have this place. So take your time, Moors. The school is that vessel so we can help cultivate our mind space so we can tap into that genius citizen that our prophet made mention to us in our warning so we can do what's necessary to uplift our nation. And with that being said, Moors, I give my Islams and peace to you all. Islam.
Islam? Islam. Islam. Next, we'll have our nationality and identification card explained by Sheikh Bruce Dixon Bay. Islam? Islam.
Islam, thank you. Islam, good afternoon, everyone. Glad to see you all here. Everybody looks nice today. And I hope after we go through this program, we can enjoy our food. Islam. This is your national identification card. And on the front, it has copybook 521, file number 539. National Archives, National Headquarters, General Service Administration, Washington, D.C., 20408. Leviticus 5, what is it, 16, 13th Amendment with 20 sections, 16th and 17th, National Record Group, number 147. See SSA Form 00AN 70003, identification, Richardson and Timothy Dingle Ill, 1978. And then it has your name and your description, your birth date, your race, your sex, height, hair, eyes, and blood type. Islam. This is your identification card. On the back, you have the Star and Crescent, the hand press of unity, and the circle 7 on the back. Islam. It reads, citizen's signature above. So you would write your name on this line. Islam. This is your nationality and identification card for the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic, and birthrights for Moorish American ETC. Someone said, where's your glasses? I need a magnifying glass for this one. We honor all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. Islam, more. I don't think this is going to help me. This is for the blind man here. May the blessings of our God, Father Allah, be upon you that carry this card. I do hereby declare that you are a Muslim under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am a citizen of the U.S.A. Noble Drew Ali, prophet and authority. Chicago, Illinois. Cook County, copybook 521, page 579. So this will be your identification card, carried with you at all times. It's not a magic pass for you to get in and out of places, but it's sure a magic pass to identify you as being a Moorish American and a white person and not a Negro, black, or colored. Islam.
need to annex their title in order for that to be official. Obey.
Yeah. The sister reminded me that you have to annex your title, obey, in order for this to be official. And what she means is,
When signing it.
in signing it, and that line, that nexus line, and we'll talk a lot more about that and what that means, right? So I think we've covered everything. Did I cover it all? Did I cover it all? Islam. Thank you, Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Uh, Next, we'll have our Grand Sheikh Joe Bratton Bey explain why we wear white. Islam, Islam.
Islam rose again. Islam again. Islam again. I'm circling the assembly now, bringing in your vibration because we all need to bring in that love. Islam. Well, you know, we in this society, and you hear the term white, black. And a lot of people say, well, I'm not white. I'm black. Black is an adjective. But white, we got to understand what it really means when they play the word game with us. White means purity. Purity means God. God means ruler of the land. We are the true white people. But see, when somebody uses the term white, you looking at the pigmentation. It don't have nothing to do with that in government. They play us with the words. I've said the man that controls your habits control you. So how is he controlling us? You think you're being educated, but you're being trained. These people convened. They started a school board council back in 1902 under the Rockefellers. And they determined they was not going to teach us anything that's going to raise our level of consciousness in any field of development. Why do you think you don't get your history in school? They give you civil rights. So if they just give you civil rights, what about your ancient history? And the reason why they don't give you that, because they know who we are, but you don't. Why? Because you come out of these schools and you think because you got a degree, you know something. You don't know nothing about you. That's how they play us. That's how they play us. So there's a book. It's called The Circle Seven. It was prepared by the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali. 18 years of Jesus' life missing. How come you don't know nothing about it? They teach you Jacob had 12 sons, but he had a daughter. They don't teach you about that one. She made the 13th tribe. The reason why they don't want to let you know about her, because she was a goddess. And she was revered throughout all of Asia and the world. The daughter. She was the 7th child through Leah, Jacob. But you don't know nothing about her. And see, everything was matriarchal, people, until the 18th dynasty, when the Amun priests flipped everything to patriarchal. Even when the Europeans came here, it was all matriarchal. Even in the beginning, in Genesis, they said, let us make man in our image. Our in us is a pronoun, so you're dealing with two. So if you want to see and understand the role that the feminine energy had with the male, read the 8th chapter of Proverbs. And you can connect that back to the Circle 7 dealing with the creation and the fall of man. And what is so significant about it, when you get to the second paragraph, it says, here now, O protoplasm of earth and plant and beast, here now you creeping things of earth, you fish that swim, you birds that fly. Here now you winds that blow, you thunders and lightnings in the sky. Here now, you spirits of the fire of water, earth and air. Here now, O everything that is or was or evermore will be, for wisdom speaks. Where does wisdom come from? From out of the highest plane of spirit life. So when our prophet teaches us, he says, what is the higher self? He says, the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life that brings what? Justice, mercy, love, and right. So when you read the 8th chapter of Proverbs, you're going to find that feminine energy from the very beginning that you all don't know nothing about. Because they take the woman, put her down. She's behind the man. No, always side by side. That's the balance. So this book, the Book of Secrets, I've said on occasion, those of you who've seen the movies National Treasure, #2, when the president relative was asking, President, is there a book of secrets? And he was reluctant to say yes or no. But then he recanted and said, yes, it is. It's page 47. This is the secret, y'all. This book, chapter 47, is on the page. It's on the page. This book, you read the 5th chapter of Revelations, and it's called the Book of the Seven Seals. That's what this is. That's why it's the Book of Secrets, because the secret is you. I don't care what Masonic order you in, the highest degree is knowing yourself. So let me get back to the white. Then I'm going to stop. There's so much more I like to talk about. So let's deal with this white. We all in white, beautiful. Like I said, white means purity, purity means God, God means rule of the land. And we all the rulers of the land. And see, when the chairman was speaking about the nationality card, our prophet brought out our titles to our vast estate. And what is that title? Eel and Bay. Rulership and nobility. The Moors ruled the planet. We ruled Europe to close to 1,000 years. All the houses of the nobles over there was us, but they whitewashed the cardinals so you wouldn't know. Even when the cardinals came here, they were us, but you don't know that. So that's why this movement is so important. And the only way that you're going to find out about you got to get from under this man's clutches and demonstrate what is truth. Because see, truth does 3 things. It just don't set you free. It makes you free and keep you free when you know it. So this is about knowing people. So let's get to the white. Now this is Revelations 3. It says, thou hast a few names even in starters, which have not defiled their garments. And they shall walk with me in white. So y'all gonna be walking today in white for this reason. Now you're gonna be walking with me in white, for they are worthy. Each and every one of you here are worthy to be walking in white. And let me tell you why. Let's the scripture say why. He that overcometh shall be clothed in white raiment. And I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. See, when you proclaim your nationality, people, and these folks don't want to let you know about that, because that's the secret. So when you proclaim your nationality, you realize that you honor your ancestors. We the people of the book, not one book, but all the books, because we were first. Why do you think on a dollar bill you have 2 symbols? The pyramid and the eagle. And it's on a $1 bill because we was first and everything is encrusted in 13. The pyramid represents the house of the gods. That's who we are. Read the 82nd Psalms, and it's going to tell you what Jesus said, that we all are gods like him. And we are. If we are the first image of the Creator, and we were the founders of civilizations, so therefore, by that being the case, first image now, so that means we the gods on earth because we was first. So that dollar bill signifies that, and the pyramid represents it. So, but the question is, you don't know your ancestry. You don't know your ancient fathers. So let me say who they are. Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, Joseph by Mary. All of these characters, these great men and women are you. Man, your sin nature does not change. What you was eons ago, you still at today. So if you take yourself and reestablish your domicile and say you go to Europe, you be Irish of Moorish descent. You go to Jamaica, you be Jamaican of Moorish descent, because that don't change. Names change, but your descent nature never changes. Everything is in threes. Nationality is generated, is validated according to genealogy, and your genealogy is validated according to your descent nature. That's how you run it. So don't pay your money to these groups out here with Ancestry.com, because you're paying your money and they got you bouncing all around the planet, 10% here, 5% there, 3%, and you still don't know who you are. But these laws that the prophet has brought, he's the Hebrew prophet. That's why we call ourselves Hebrew Muslims of Moorish descent. So let me explain that. Hebrew only means one who crossed over. Crossed over from what to what? Our people was idol worshiping. Abraham came and got him, take him back to the one God. Was not Abraham about the one God, Moses about the one God, Jesus about the one God, Muhammad about the one God? Our prophet Noble Drylee says, know thyself and your father God Allah. So once you get the understanding of you, then there's no more lies. Because when the prophet came and brought us out nationality and birthright, he broke the Roman seal. And we have the only federal law case that's been adjudicated in our behalf that they have sealed that you don't know anything about. And the motion of that particular case was about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, were never properly ratified and does not reflect the true provisions of the original 13th Amendment with 20 sections. So what we have to understand, if I ask any of you all in this room 2 questions, so if I ask you all the questions, if you're a citizen, and most of you would say yes, because you think just because you're born here, that makes you a citizen. I'm a citizen, I have rights. Black man, Negro, you never have a right. And see, what we have to understand, we fought a civil war to become free. And the South was winning the war until President Lincoln emancipated us. He was a Moor himself. He was the 16th president, so there's our 7 again, because we represent the 7. And the turning point of the war was Gettysburg. 7,000 of us died in a half hour at Gettysburg. We was the ones running the Southerners back down south. And we had over 90,000 of us holding slaves and who was fighting for the South because we didn't want to get the slaves up. They ain't gonna tell you that history. So by that being the case, they had crafted 2 monuments for us. One is the Liberty Bell. The other one is the Statue of Liberty. The word liberty in law means birthright. Now, we all know that Martin Luther King gave his I Have a Dream speech, and we think that that speech was a dream, about a dream. Martin Luther King found out about what we talking to you right now about. That's why he said, one day as a people, we're going to reach the mountaintop. We're going to reach this promised land. But the question is, where is the promised land? And who made the promise to whom? Well, the Creator made the promise to Abraham as long as the Israelites obeyed his laws and his commandments, that he would love us and protect us. But once we defiled him, he scattered us to the four corners. That's where our seed is everywhere. But here in the West, we are the lost tribes of Israel here in the West. Here in the West. And what we don't realize that when you deal with that Liberty Belt, it's a landmark that's never to be moved. It's a map. The crack in the belt represents the Mississippi River. Why? Because that's an extension of the Nile River, because this is Egypt of the West. When you turn the belt upside down, it's an outline of that promised land that Martin Luther King was talking about. And that promised land lies between the Rockies and the Allegheny Mountain chains. And it consists of over 22 states, people. You don't know nothing about it. But when they freed us, they said in the debate, when they were dealing with slavery, that promised land, they called it Egypt of the West, the great body of the republic, the land of milk and honey. The honey is the gold and the milk is the silver. So in that particular demonstration, they let us see something. See, they didn't let us know that there were 4 proclamations. When you read the January the 1st, 1863 proclamation and the preamble of that, it gives you a date, September 22nd. You don't see that one. That's called the initial Emancipation Proclamation or the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation. And in that proclamation, it talks about the colonization. It talks about your freedom. And it also talks about compensation. But the man got us thinking about reparations. That's never going to happen, people. Never. Why? Because you call yourself black. Now, we got to realize if we fought a civil war to get from under this dehumanization, black, Negro, colored, etc., so why are we still that today? Something going on with the picture. And see, what's going on with the picture is that when they debated our freedom, people, on March 31st, 1864, in the Senate, they said it was only one remaining law to resolve it. And that law was called the Hebrew/Levitical Code. And most of us don't know anything. Most of us don't know anything about this code, or where is it? The code is on top of the Liberty Bell, and that code is Leviticus 25:10, and this is what it says. It says, "Ye shall hallow within the 50th year, proclaim liberty throughout all the land, unto all its inhabitants thereof, and it shall be a jubilee unto you to return every man into his family and his possessions." So who is your family? Is it Jones? Is it Williams? Is it Carter? And we have a family reunion every year celebrating who? The slave owner. Don't even realizing that when y'all seen the movie Roots, the man name was Kunta Kinte, and he fought hard to keep his name, but now he's Toby Jones. So if the slave master's name was Jones and all his slaves was Jones, and he was a Baptist in the church, then all the slaves were brought into the church, and he gave you that image from the cradle to the grave, the white boy Jesus. That's why all of our people go into your homes, you see the white boy Jesus, you see Martin Luther King and JFK. That's what you see. But now, if you want to know what the man looked like, the Nazarene, Yahshua, you read the first chapter of Revelation, and you will hear or see and read that the man had skin like burnt copper, hair like lamb's wool, eyes was fiery red. As surely it wasn't them, it was us. So why are they going to depict the image of them? See, this is the missing piece that we don't know nothing about. We are freed people, but you don't know the laws that freed you. They give us the 13th Amendment with 2 sections. And all it's making reference to, it says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except for a punishment of crime. So we absorb that. There's nothing in that particular section says anything about you being free or that slavery has been abolished. They played us because, see, there were two 13th Amendments. I made reference to March 31st, 1864 in the Senate when they debated the whole slavery issue, when they said the only remaining law to resolve it is the Hebrew/Levitical code. So why would they use this code for a bunch of so-called black folks? Because they know who we are, but you don't. Because they never taught us who we were. That's why the Creator, who loves his people so much, you read the 7th chapter of Deuteronomy, and you will find out where the Creator looked at us as very special people unto the Creator. Well, our God name is Allah. Now, there was a whole lot of different names, but it was still about the one God. So, going back to this code, when they debated this, and they said the only remaining law, but this is the key, and this is where we have fallen short. When they said by complying with the requirements of what? Naturalization. Ain't nothing about no nationalization, naturalization. It says by complying with that requirement, we became citizens, entitled to all the immunities and privileges of who? The native Hebrew. They didn't say nothing about no native Indians now. The Indians are in India. That's another mark of slavery, Indian. So the question we need to ask ourselves, when did they comply that process to us? They never did. That's why Dred Scott had a problem. They said, Negro, you free, go ahead. He was all happy. Thought he could go from one state to the other. And they said, oh, Negro, hold it. No, 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 no. No, Negro. That ain't happening. He wanted to know why. So when you read his case, you'll find out that the reason why they had to freeze him because he was what? Never naturalized. That's right in the case. Even our prophet Noble Drali he was so divinely prepared. And he said if we were free ever since your free national constitution of 1774, which we don't know nothing about, he said if we was freed ever since your free national constitution, so therefore there's no need for the application of what? The 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens and other citizens. So the question is, what is this 14th Amendment? The 14th Amendment deals with two components, civil rights and citizenship. 15th Amendment deals with your voting rights. So going back to what Noble Drali has taught us and his divine lessons about your free national constitution. So the first 7 articles of the Constitution, people, is the Moorish foundation of governance. Do you know we are the government? We brought the Europeans into our house and made them a part of this government, we the people. Why do you think it says we the people of the United States? Now, everything is in threes. We the people of the United States in order to form a more perfect union. So if there was a union to be more perfect, then it already had to be a union already established. Would you not agree? So by that being the case, how does that union apply to us? This whole Western Hemisphere people was unionized thousands of years ago. Why is that? Because the Moors ruled the whole planet. We had an empire east and west. This was the far west that nobody knew nothing about. That's why the Europeans called it a new world. It wasn't new to us. It was new to him. So when he get here, who do he see? Us. Us. So in order for him to enslave us, he had to strip us of what? Our names, our titles, our religion, and give us these terms, black, Negro, and color. When you see the people, our people, with this dead mind that we have, disrespecting our sisters, mothers, daughters, cussing, fussing, and having this Negro degree of consciousness, you got to ask yourself, where did that come from? He did that. He created that. And let me explain that one. The proclamation was a divine contractual agreement that had 37 years to facilitate our freedom, people, from 1863 to the year 1900. They played the game with us. So by the year 1900, We are supposed to be naturalized, colonized, and compensated between the Rockies and the Allegheny Mountain chains. That's why when you saw the movie Buck and the Preacher, they was going westward. They was colonizing. They was doing all of that. But what they did in the 1900s, they went into Congress now, and it was a statesman from here. His name was Charles Curl. Here in Baltimore, there's a park called Curl Park. That was his plantation. He was a statesman, and he did research for 15 years, paid like $20,000 to determine who this Negro is. So when he finally completed his research, he created what was called an act of Congress called Negro a Beast. And this is what it says. Now, this is law in here, but y'all don't know what it's all about. Why you think they can shoot us in the street, hang us, maim us on camera, and it doesn't happen to nobody but us? Why is that? Have you ever asked yourself, why? Why us? So what they did with this law, Negro the Beast, they said the Negro created with articulate speech and hands to better serve his master, the white man. And look at what we do. They say, oh, go and get your education. You need your education. Well, I don't like to use that word education, because when you check it out, it means training. And they've trained our minds to do their bidding. It's better for you to say you're a learned person. So they have created this Negro and caused all this confusion that you see pertaining to us. They put us in it. It's going to take them to get us out of it. You ready?
Shalom, everyone. Since we're moving on to the rest of the program, what we're going to do right now is form the crescent so we can
Naturalize.
We can naturalize you this afternoon. This is your time. So we're going to form a half a crescent in the floor here.
This crescent is not just for those who have completed the class. Everyone here has to form the crescent.
You're part of it. Islam. Yes. Everybody get in this crescent. Around.
Put the children in the front.
Taller people in parts of them.
I'm in the front there, I'm sure.
Taller Moors in the back, shorter to the front.
We have to form two lines. If we have to form two lines, right? With the brothers in the back and the women and the children in the front.
Yes.
All the people stand up. Want to get everybody in this crescent.
Short people in the front.
There you go. Who is it?
I don't know if my sandwich
Get the crescent, sister. Get in the crescent.
You say tall ones to the back.
And the brothers get behind them, and y'all in a nice position right now. All we got to do is just straighten this out a little bit, and we'll be fine.
Y'all getting yourself straight? You all right? All right. Let me just say this. There's gonna come a time. Islam. When all bad people got to go through this, y'all making history. Remember that. This oath is what we all should have been administered once we were set free. See this, by taking this oath, you bring yourself back into the true Union Republic, which we are the governance of this whole nation, but yet they ain't gonna teach us that. That's why they play the game, because they feed us what they want us to know. They determine what books for us to read, what lessons to be taught. So that's why the Creator, who always got his eyes on his special folks, always have to send a prophet to his special people. So this particular oath is the oath of amnesty and reconstruction, December the 8th, 1863. So I'm going to administer this oath, and a lot of people say, well, what is your authority to do it? There's a law called the Judicial Act of 1802. Says the Congress can't do it. No state can do it, not unless it's a state that has a common law court. So we have the Moorish Supreme Court of Equity and Truth, which is common law. You just Google the Moorish Supreme Court of Equity and Truth, you'll see it come down common law court. So we authorized to do it. And then the other thing, Noble Drew Ali and his free national, when he said your free national constitution, which is the first 7 articles, to prove the science now about naturalization, teaches of Noble Drew Ali, when you go to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 of your free national constitution, which is the first 7 articles, it says we must establish a uniform rule of naturalization. Even when the Freedmen's Bureau Act was established, they also indicate that everybody got to be naturalized. So all this crap y'all hearing about nationalization, please. It's not that at all. So when I say I, now this is oath of amnesty and reconstruction. When I say I, you get into a 45 degree with your hand like this. Y'all see what I'm y'all see what I'm doing, right? Like this. All right, I'm gonna back away. All right, when I say I, you say your name. And just follow me continuously. I do solemnly affirm in the presence of Almighty God Allah that I must henceforth faithfully support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Union of the States thereunder, and that I must in like manner abide by and faithfully support all acts of Congress passed during the existing rebellion with reference to slaves, so long and so far as not repealed, modified, or held void by decision of the Supreme Court, and that I must in like manner abide by and faithfully support all proclamations of the President made during the existing rebellion having reference to persons held as slaves so long and so far as not modified or declared void by the decision of the Supreme Court. So help me, Allah. Stop. Now me. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Moorish American National Republic government to be affixed. Executed at the city of Baltimore in the state of Maryland on the 6th day of November 2021. Islam, most welcome home. paperwork to establish the recognition. Now, the government has already confirmed our paperwork, but don't be fearful, but you got to know how to internalize what you have, because we're free people, but you don't know the laws that free you. So this will establish that fact. Now, we the only organization that gives this kind of paperwork, and such a small fee that we charge. I mean, it's only $375 for 3 courses. That's it. You get all this paperwork, nationality card, and also those who want a certificate of naturalization, we have that too. But now the government has confirmed this, but they're more quiet about it. And we've been trying to unify everybody, but but we won't continue to do what we do.
Praise the Lord. That's Islam.
Islam.
All right. So at this time, sisters are going to go through first. We're going to start from this side right here, left to right. On my command, Allahu Akbar. Let's go. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. 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 Sound off, y'all. Allahu Akbar. 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 Allahu Akbar.
Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! 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 Takbir! Praise Allah, praise Allah, praise Allah.
That's right.
All right. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Islam, could you quiet it down some? Could you be seated until you receive your packets or your certificates? Your packets or your certificates. Can you sit down till you receive them? And then you can go, you can do shopping.
Thank you. Islam Moors,
Islam! Islam! Islam!
for those of you that do not know, I'm Sheikah's Bellamy Bay. I have your paperwork. I will not be calling your names a second time. Islam Moore, you'll either receive a packet or you'll receive a certificate of completion. Those that get the certificate of completion, their paperwork is not quite ready. You'll receive that in the mail. Listen up for your name. First name is Sister Nora Joseph L. Are you here? The second name. I can't say the name. What did I say? Thurman Hill.
Sahara Thurman Hill.
Sister Yasmin Thurman Hill. Brother Curtis Douglas Hill.
Brother
Curtis.
Curtis.
Douglas Hill.
Your daughter's paperwork is there also.
Islam.
Sister Crane Hill, Andra.
Sister Crane Hill Andra.
DeRocca Bay.
Rocka Bay. Rocka Bay. Not here.
Come on, Side Hill.
Sally Hill. It sound like you, it's you.
Brother Herman Miller Bay.
Herman Bennett Hill.
Herman Bennett Hill. Cameron.
Is it Cameron?
Hill.
Okay.
Jenkins Hill.
Darrell Jenkins Hill.
Marion Tuma Hill. Michelle Ewok Hill. York, whatever. York.
Okay.
Sherman Thomas Bay.
Tony Ann
Lockhill.
Cason Hill.
Well, that's a, she's locked.
Oh, Locke. Okay.
She's not here either. Okay, this is the last packet. This is her husband, Rashid. So, he's not here.
Ahmad Nasir Abdul Rashid Hill.
It's some more.
Say that again.
Lockhill. Are there any Lockills in the audience? No, he's not here. He's not here. It's some more. These certificates represent your completion of the classes. You will receive your packet soon. They're not complete, and I sent them all out at once, not individually. Listen for your names, please. Michael Stanford Eel.
Michael Stanford Hill.
Cynthia Culverhouse Bay. Say her name. Attire. Daily Bay.
Ampia Daily Bay. Meriton Kirkland Bay.
Ronald Gray Bay.
Carl Hatchet Bay II. Sean Eichert Hill.
Sean Eichert Hill.
Melvin Jackson Bay.
Melvin Jackson Bay.
Paul Anthony Brown Bay.
Paul Anthony Brown Bay.
Roxborough Bay. Carlene Jenkins Hill. Carlene Jenkins Hill.
Bingo. Yeah, Canada. Okay.
Carlene. Joanne Labastide Bay.
Jason Lee Bay.
Jason
Tamako.
Lee Bay.
He's coming. No, I don't think they're here. Is the alarm here? The Noble. Okay. So why?
Tamarcio Levy Hill.
Joseph Pendavi. Healed.
Joseph, let me say this right. Joseph Anthony Pendavis Hill.
Ronald Perry. Thank God middle name. Y'all already know. You want to do the middle name? You have to make Perry and Jarvis. Okay. Did I say that?
Reginald Perry Bay. Darius Privet Hill.
Darius Privet Hill.
Cynthia Ridgeway Bay.
Cynthia Ridgeway Bay.
Spencer Stewart Bay.
Spencer Stewart Bay.
Corey Whetstone Bay.
Now call my name.
Daryl Williams Hill.
Rockman.
Daryl Williams Hill.
Rockman Wilkins Hill.
We done.
Rockman Wilkins Hill.
Oh my goodness, he's not here. It's no more. That concludes the distribution of the packets and the certificates. Please follow directions regarding the packet instructions. Give me 2 weeks before any telephone calls. The first week, you're going to peruse the information for correctness, as it says on the sheet. The second week, you're going to have working knowledge of that paperwork. If you have any discrepancies as to what's on the paperwork, we need you to make a copy of the original. Write on the copy. Do not write on any of the originals. Send both documents in if they need correcting. Any questions? Any questions to the right, or is that the left out there? Any questions to the left? any questions in front of me? Once I leave the stage, don't come to me. I've asked, do you have questions? Do you have any questions right here, right now? Hold on. Do you have any questions, anyone other than these two?
At this time, we'll have the Moorish prayer.
All right.
Face east.
Islam. Islam. Islam.
Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, through Allah, Ameen. Peace, Islam.